And today's episode of the Riderflex podcast is sponsored by our friends at Ready List Sports. Really love what Chad Freehoff, the CEO, and his team are doing over there. It's an interactive playbook, learning and testing technology designed to drive engagement, comprehension, and safety. If you're a football fan of any age, youth, high school, college, pro, we encourage you to check them out at readylistsports.com. And on today's episode of the Riderflex podcast, I'm recording this episode in mid-April 2020. And it's right in the middle of the coronavirus. It's going to be a tough market. There's some layoffs and furloughs happening. So I thought it'd be timely for me to put this message out. If you're caught up in a layoff situation, now could be the time, right, to start that business you always dreamed about. Now, you may listen to this episode and think, well, that's crazy. Why would I try to start a business in a down market or right in the middle of this, crazy situation we got the country going through with the coronavirus? Well, here's why I'm bringing this topic up. If you've been laid off, you're going to have unemployment. And as of April of 2020, you're actually going to get some additional assistance on that unemployment from the federal government. And so the unemployment check could be a considerable size. In fact, in many cases, it could be 75, 80, 85% of what you were making already. If that's the case, you should draw out the timeline, find out how long the unemployment lasts. Ask yourself if you can take a 15 or 20% cut in net income for your personal household, and then start your business. Think about it this way. If you always wanted to start something, you probably didn't because you were worried about quitting your job with no income to start that business, right? Most of the time, that's why people don't start a business is because they're worried that they're not going to have any income. They always tell me, well, I can't just quit my job and start a business, then I don't have any money to pay the mortgage. Well, here's your opportunity. Think of the unemployment check like a bridge, right? It's almost like getting a loan from the bank to cover your payroll while you start your business. Right. And now there are some things that come into play here with if you start a business and you're an employee and then the unemployment stops, et cetera. So you got to make sure you look into all that and follow all the legal rules. But you could, in theory, get some things started, so to speak, or at least get some plans going, get ready to open a business. All the pre-work, if you will, could be done while you're collecting the unemployment, right? If you're not officially employed, you can still collect the unemployment, or at least I think that's how it works. And by the way, I'm not an expert on the topic and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not an employment expert, but I will tell you that I've talked to many people that started a business, and often it was when they were laid off. They were laid off, they went home, they felt sorry for themselves for 2 weeks, and then they got up off the couch and said, you know what, I always wanted to open up that coffee shop, and now I'm going to do it. And they used some of that unemployment, at least in the beginning, to get some of the pre-work done before they opened up their shop. So now could be the time for you, right? Now could be your moment. If you've always thought to yourself, I'm too scared to quit my job, well, you don't have to be scared anymore because you're unemployed. So go for it, man. Go for it. Now could be the time for you to start that business that you've always dreamed of. And there is your Riderflex tip of the day. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.